Let's go! Cricket! Here we go! Spider! Here we go! Easy!
Welcome to Arthur L. Williams Stadium in Lynchburg, home to the Liberty Flames, and fans have been eagerly anticipating this clash and filling up this stadium quickly. We've got a sensational matchup for you. Fans have been filing in and getting ready for this game. As we'll see a squad from the Sun Belt, the Georgia Southern Eagles, taking on a team recharged after a much-needed bye week, the Liberty Flames. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Time to get this game started. The Flames will kick it away to start us off. Fielded in the end zone, it's Murphy. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. Offense getting set for first down. Williams looking for a man. Takes the easy throw in the flat. He is stopped behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose yards on that one.
You know, as a quarterback, you believe in your matchup. And my running back, if I can get him the ball in space, he's going to win a lot of times. He did in that time. The defense was ready. Nice job in the open field making the nice tackle.
From the gun, he leads it with the back. It's a fumble. Now the defense has got it, and they're going the other way. Touchdown, Flames! And the defense doing work. Getting set for the point after. And he's got the extra point, and it's 7-0 to start this one. That is a defensive player's dream. Ball sitting there, chance to scoop it up, run with it, and they don't stop you until the band starts playing. On the run from inside his own 5. He's got great speed. He's got an alley. Wide open, and it's a foot race. He will score. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. That dude ought to have a lethal sticker on his helmet. Anytime he touches it, it can be a score. He touched it, and it was.
No doubt. Unbelievable speed. And if you're back deep for a kickoff, obviously you've got those wheels. But to be able to get through, and guess what? No flags. You know it's going to count. Great job by the special teams being special.
Well, you could draw a line in the middle, and he would have hit that thing. After that latest answer tied things up, just about set to kick it away again. And he'll return it and try to get behind his blockers. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. The offense set for a first down play. Defense showing plenty of pre-snap movement of their own. Power football with the run. Hits him with a stiff arm. Really nice run. Solid pickup, and they'll move the sticks with a first down.
Defense is going to have their hands full trying to get this guy on the ground, man. He's got some serious moves once he has the ball in his hands.
They created a lot of breathing room with that first play of the drive. Now first down from the 39. They're going to ride this running back. And that's a very productive first down play in bringing up 2nd and 3.
I know it's sexy to throw the football, but if you can pound it away and get these kind of gains, they will just add up, wear the defense down, get first downs, and ultimately get some points.
Okay, ready?
Good spot after that 7-yard pickup on first down. It's 2nd and 3. He'll ride his man on the option. The pitch. And that might have been a bad read as the defense just swarms all over the pitch man. And the Flames headed quickly to the line. On 3rd down, going up top. Oh, he dropped the football. He had it right in the middle of the field and just ran before he finished the catch. It'll be 4th down.
Man, these slant routes you throw them quick. It's a timing route. You've thrown 3 million of them to the wide receiver, and most of the time, he gets his hands up and he catches it, keeps his body in the way. But right there, just lack of focus, lack of concentration, just drops the easy play. He's probably caught that ball 99% of the time it's been thrown to him.
On 4th down, looking for the completion. Shoots it to the left. Got it past the marker. And they finally get him to the ground. An easy conversion for this offense. Defense, not exactly the perfect 4th down call there. Sometimes we don't give enough credit to a receiver knowing exactly where he needs to be on the field, and they pick up the first down there.
Yeah, and you've got to give the receiver credit, obviously knowing where that is, but the defender needs to know where it is too. Where is he trying to get? That ball's going to come out quick. He didn't really understand where the sticks were, and because of that, he gives up the first down. He need to just be a little bit more aware as a defensive guy.
Oh, so close to paying off. The tip really had it in his hands, but it falls incomplete.
You know, it's so important for corners to be able to transition, right? You got to have real loose hips. You got to be able to change direction on a dime. And in zone coverage, when you see the ball thrown, you can break on it and force incompletions like that.
On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. That's incomplete. Tried to set up the screen, and he dropped the pass. The Flames will try to pick it up on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. That's reeled in. It's Smith. Bust through behind his pad. He will step out of bounds, but not before the big pickup and a first down for this offense. And the Flames come to the line with a fresh set of downs. They'll put the tight end in motion. From the gun, the running back looking for room. Works his way down to the 10-yard line after a pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. Wide out in motion. Looking downfield, it's Salter. He wants it all. He snares it in the end zone. Touchdown, Liberty. On to attempt the try. And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. They march 79 yards on the drive, and they finish it off by connecting from 10 yards out. From inside his own 15, looking for room. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. Georgia Southern has it back, and here comes the offense again. They're going to throw it to start the drive. They're bringing heat. Hit hard as he released the ball on that first down pass, and it never had a chance.
Pressure got to the QB that time. He was trying to find his check down out of the backfield, but the hit forced the incompletion.
After the misfire, it's 2nd and 10. He's looking to throw. Pocket starts to collapse. Usually see better timing between this senior quarterback and his receivers. That one well behind him.
This guy is very proud about his accuracy. That's why he's one of the better quarterbacks in all of college football. And that time, ball just got away from him a little bit. It's going to set up 3rd down.
Right down the middle. Makes the grab. So important to convert these third downs, and they get it done. They'll have it at the 42. Here comes the offense on first down. It'll be a draw. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one.
I love when you start bringing linebackers up near the line of scrimmage and you start sending them, because those guys have serious speed. They can come catch anybody up and down the line of scrimmage. The linebacker, you could tell, he had a good clue what was going on. He knew it was a run play, fired, pulled the trigger, came downhill, and attacked the running back.
Williams will pass. He tries to take the top off. And it's caught inside the 20. Just making a huge play, and he sets him up all the way down at the 14.
Good enough for first down.
They'll throw it from the red zone. Trying to get to it. Catch in the middle, it's Arnold. And he motors into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah, how about the design of the play? Doing a great job. Get it to your man, your running back, now turn receiver in space, and let him do damage. Let him catch the football. He can do the rest. Be that special player in space that you know he is, and get into the end zone.
And we're all square as he's set to kick it away. Liberty takes over the Flames, sending the offense back onto the field. The way this game started, you feel as if you have to score a touchdown every time you have it, and now we'll see if they can respond.
Yeah, and I wonder how much pressure that puts on the offense. Jesse, like, you know this is back and forth. I got to score, and every possession matters so much. What does that do to you as a quarterback?
Well, it puts a lot more pressure on you for sure to feel like I got to make every third down throw. If guys are open vertically down the field, I got to hit them too. We can't let our serve get broken.
Great job by the defense. Everybody firing off the ball, hitting their guys, holding their gaps, running to the football, nowhere to go.
It's third down from their own 34 as they try to keep the drive moving. They'll try to power their way ahead. Still on his feet at the 45. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
This running back loves running into the teeth of the defense. In between the tackles, he keeps a low pad level, and he's got some speed.
Dropping back, it's Salter. Feeling some heat. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down.
That is just great total defense on that play. First off, you get pressure, you get to hit the quarterback, but two, you've got the intended target double covered. There was no way the offense was coming up with a completion on that play.
It falls incomplete, and that'll be the final play of the period.
With the score tie, 14.
They've changed ends of the field, now facing third down as they go back to work. From the gun, wants to pass. He lets it fly. Fires into traffic. It's picked off. Going the other way, and he's got room. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
I think everybody thinks when you say middle of the field safety, that's an easy responsibility. There's a lot of field in the middle, okay? I got to cover a lot of space. He does an unbelievable job covering space, breaking on the football, seeing the route, and going and getting the interception. Nice play by that safety.
Well, the drag routes put in this playbook to fight against man-to-man coverage. So there you see the receiver using his speed, working his way across the field. He gets separation on the DB trying to trail him, makes the catch, turns it upfield for the first.
He wants to pass it on second down. With the catch, it's White. And he'll step across the sidelines after making a good gain on that one.
Guys at the backfield now, it's not just run the ball downhill anymore. You got to be versatile. I got to be able to trust you in the pass game, and I got to be able to throw you the football, and you can do that right there. I know you're going to catch it, and I can depend on it.
How aggressive might this play call be on third and short from the 46? Williams looking for a man. Getting some heat. And this is going to be incomplete on third.
And this offense stays aggressive and they pass the football. I think you can always look back and say, third and short, I'd love for you to run it and be the more physical team. But nice job sticking up and bowing their necks to those directions.
They really have no choice here. This is a no-brainer. You go for it here on this fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Gets drilled as he releases it, and the ball just trickles to the ground.
Love the coverage on defense there. Fourth down, they're ready for the pass. You saw in the back end, great job being in position to make that play, and now their offense is coming on the field.
Looking to move it through the air. Quickly complete. Good pickup there. They'll move the chains, and they're set up at the 41.
Nice job by the running back, catching the football and understanding where the first down marker was. I got to go get that first down. Did a nice job of it.
They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. That linebacker saw the express lane right to the ball carrier.
And a great job by the defensive line, getting some push, making them use their resources on him. Linebacker comes free, boom, and making the backfield for a tackle for a loss.
On second down, they'll take to the air. They're working that left side. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. They'll need to get this one to the 31 here on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the wideout. And they'll miss the connection here on third down.
Got to give the defense credit on that play, taking everything away, forcing the incompletion. Now it's decision time. Fourth and short, and you're in field goal range. What do you do here?
They are perfect on fourth down so far in the first half. They'll try to make it 3 for 3. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Makes the catch past the sticks. He's run out of bounds, but a big play on that one, and it'll be a first down. The Flames have this offense rolling. On the option. He'll toss it. And that defense doesn't allow a cutback, and they get him out of bounds after a short gain.
And after a successful run like that on first down, if you're the offensive coordinator here, maybe you're thinking about being aggressive and potentially taking a shot, because even if it's incomplete.
And now on the pitch, the ball's loose. He's got the ball, and he'll try to pick up a few.
Man, those are so frustrating when you're a defense and you swarm to the football and you stick the quarterback and you make him cough it up just to have the other team recover it again, and you don't get it. Still a good stick, still a good physical play. Keep hitting that quarterback.
Throws to the wideout. Got him downfield. Touchdown, Flames. A great catch and run for 6. He'll try to tack on one more. And with the extra point, the score is now 21-14. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
All right, guys, want to update you on a game that went final moments ago. Arkansas delivered the type of thrashing generally reserved for homecoming games in Fayetteville. Thing is, this was a road victory, and a win like this is going to resonate throughout the SEC. 60 minutes of football and a convincing outcome, and certainly a game with implications far beyond just the standings, fellas.
And Kevin Connors keeping an eye on everything all over the country. Sounds like they had a good one there. Georgia Southern has it back, ready to go to work on offense. Hit hard just as he released it on first down and just couldn't get it to the receiver. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Williams will pass. They're trying to get to it. And this is dropped. Incomplete pass. He had a huge gain in his fingers, and he couldn't hold on. Third down conversions are a huge stat, and this one would be a doozy if they can pull it off. Looking to move the chains. They throw it complete to the left. He's off to the races. The 10. Touchdown, Eagles! And they take it in for 6 more points. All even up after that one. Basically a brand new game.
And with a tie, guess what? Back to the offense. Back to the offense. Which defense can get a stop? These offenses have been humming.
And he makes the extra point. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And they finish the drive with a 64-yard scoring toss. The ball squirts through the end zone. That'll be a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. Liberty takes over, and the Flames offense ready to go to work. These two defenses have had their heads spinning here in the first half, and now we might even see a little more scoring with this drive.
It's going back and forth. This is like two heavyweights just trade.
Just plowing down the field. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they get it out to the 36. After picking up this first down on the ground, let's see what they do. Quarterback changing the plays at the line. They'll run the toss. That's what you expect from a senior. Don't give them any extra yards. Great tackle there.
You know, I think a big part of this isn't necessarily scoring a touchdown on that play, but you're just trying to get your offensive line in the rhythm of the game. Let those big fellas get lathered up.
Now on second down. Looking to throw, it's Salter. Unloads to the wideout. It's caught downfield. He's run out of bounds, but not before. Turning in a big pickup and moving the sticks for a first down.
And you see so many smart wide receivers, so many smart tight ends nowadays that they know where the holes in those zones are, and they work with their quarterback, and they find them, and they sit down in them and make big plays. It's tough to sit back in zone against such smart players nowadays.
Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a first down.
It's so hard to defend these guys. You know, it's 1st and 10. Everything's available to you. You don't know if it's run or pass, and then you add in the scrambling element with the quarterback. He does a great job scrambling outside, getting outside the pocket, and then at the end of the play, not taking a hit, getting a first down, new set of downs for the offense.
Well, you can tell those two have been practicing the out route all offseason long. They look like they could have completed that in their sleep.
Caught in the backfield, it's Smith. They make the stop, but the sweet throwing catch is plenty to give them a first down. How about the mix of play calls on this drive? 3 runs, 3 passes, and now they're in business.
And just keeping the defense completely off balance. When you think it's a run, it's a pass. When you think it's a pass, it's a run. Nice job by this offense, going right down the field in 6 plays, and now set up for first and goal.
Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. And makes the grab in the end zone. Touchdown, Liberty! They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. So a well-executed 8-play, 75-yard drive. And they finish things off with an 8-yard toss for the score. Guess that's one way to ensure there's no return as the kickoff goes out of bounds. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Offense set on first down. They'll start this drive with a pass. Fires left. Complete downfield. And he's tripped up, but not before picking up the first down. Georgia Southern in a hurry.
And that's good enough for a first down.
Gonna run it. It's White. And they'll bring him to the ground after a short gain.
You know, it's so important for offenses to want to keep third downs manageable. The way you do that is by having success like that, running the football on first down.
Williams looking for a man. He'll take a deep shot here. And a big play on the outside. What a job to keep those feet in bounds and get the completion. And the Eagles will have it 1st and 10. And the pass hits, picked off. Got some room to run. The 40, at the 30, the 10. Touchdown Flames. A great return for the touchdown. Any return for a touchdown is a great one to a defense. And it's no good. He missed the extra point. You get that touchdown right before the half, build the momentum, and the last thing you need to do is mess it up by allowing a big kickoff return. And it's caught from inside the 20, and here he comes. Nice, just enough space to cross the 25. Let's mark it at the 27-yard line. Just enough time for one final play in this half. Wants to throw on 1st down. Got a man, it's Burgess. They make the stop, and that is the end of the first half. That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin in our halftime update. Kickoff team lining up to send this one away.
Number 88 sets a kickoff.
And he muffs it, a loose football. He'll bring it out from inside his own 10. Liberty takes over the Flames, sending the offense back onto the field. He'll come out throwing on 1st down. Takes the easy completion. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short gain there. They were able to get the ball to the running back in space, but that space just evaporated.
And a great job by the defense, man. It's tough to get those guys on the ground. They're so used to having the football as running backs and making plays and being dynamic. So usually one guy not going to get into the ground. You want many guys swarming to the football, trying to get that elusive guy on the ground.
They'll make the stop, but not before they use the screen beautifully and pick up the 1st down.
And they executed that running back screen to perfection. Quarterback held on to it. He let the rush get to him. Offensive lineman got out in position, and the running back sold it too. Once he had the ball in his hands, he just had blockers and green field out in front of him. They pick up an explosive play on a running back screen.
It's just so nice to know you can start off on 1st down with positive plays. Positive yards, hand the football off, set up a good 2nd down.
Back to throw, it's Salter. Trying to beat the D deep. Got it. So close to that end zone. He could almost taste it, but it'll be 1st and goal for this offense.
And that play is going to just ignite this offense. You got to take a shot. You want to be aggressive. What an individual effort here by the receiver hauling in that catch.
And the Flames are on the move. Snap in the shotgun. He caught it. Takes it to the house. Touchdown, Liberty. No step back in week 3. They have been sharp as they extend the lead. How about this? These guys are going for 2. They'll go to the air. Floating away. He's into the end zone for the 2 and extends the lead. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive. That might be overdoing it, keeping it away from the return man as the kickoff goes out of bounds. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. 1st down here for the offense. He wants to start this drive with a pass. Flushed out of the pocket. All kinds of time before he fires right. He makes the catch inside the 25. Just what they were looking for. A huge explosive play, and they're inside the 15 at the 13-yard line. After ripping off a huge chunk of yardage, now they've got it 1st and 10 from the 13. They'll leave it with him. Pushes and picks his way ahead for 6 yards. He's down at the 8.
A lot of times it's hard to see those linebackers coming down late and blitzing through a gap. The offense did a really nice job getting a hat on a hat, blocking up front so the running back can get some positive yards.
Corner's right up on that line of scrimmage. On the ground, it's White. And he'll race it to the house. Touchdown, Eagles! Got to start cutting into this lead somewhere. Now the question, will they have enough time?
But that's step one. You got to get that first score. You got to get back in the ball game and get some of that momentum back on your side. You still got more work to do, but step one accomplished.
And he made the extra point without problem. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Fellas, I think at least a portion of your audience will have an interest in the one that just finished up. Utah State found a way to pick up the W, and a win is a win, but this was not the type of convincing victory they've gotten used to in Logan. A lot to go through in the film session this week for both teams, but boy, it sure is going to be easier for the side that came away with the win.
Kevin, thanks a lot for that one. Sounds as if they had a good one there. Liberty takes over, and the Flames offense ready to go to work. This offense has really been clicking in the game so far, Jesse.
No doubt. Everything their play caller is dialing up, these guys offensively have been able to go out and execute, David.
Yeah, and it's just maintaining the lead. Keep doing what you've been doing. You got a big lead. Let's just keep piling it on until they find an answer.
Setting up for a 1st and 10 from the 26. Here comes the option. Picks up the 1st down. And he put his foot in the ground and turned it upfield and turned it into a big play. Great decision to keep it.
You just hold your breath every time this QB keeps the football in the running game, man. With his speed, he's a threat to hit the home run every time he totes the rock.
They'll try the right side. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. The Flames racing to the line in the hurry-up.
Brings up 2nd down.
After run, now throw. Got a man, it's Lucas. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few. Well, he made the grab, but the doors closed quickly after that.
And I like this. I want to find my running back, but man, he's got to do a little more damage after the catch. I need a stiff arm. I need a spin move. I need something where he can make that guy miss and pick up a bunch of yards and maybe get a big play out of it.
On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. That pass not close as he got drilled trying to deliver it, and it'll bring up 4th down.
And finally, the defense is able to get some pressure on this quarterback. They had been trying all game long different ways to affect him, weren't able to get there. But on that play, because of the pressure, it affected his accuracy, and that's why the ball falls incomplete.
On 4th down, they'll pass for it. Makes the grab well past the sticks. And that's where they'll mark him, but a chunk play, and they pick up a 1st down.
That's a great example of the receiver knowing exactly where the 1st down marker is. He got the depth he needed to get, so once he was able to make the...
Looking for the end zone. And he makes the catch, but no. They'll say he's out of bounds.
Ball hasn't hit the ground a lot for this QB. He's already thrown 4 TD passes. He saw a look, wanted to take another shot, and that time they just fall short with the incompletion. But this defense, they have not had the answer with respect to defending the pass in this game.
After the incompletion, it's 2nd down. To throw, it's Salter. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
This QB has had a lot of success all day long, throwing for so many touchdowns, looking very comfortable. Finally, the defense gets to him. Finally, the defense gets a win. They needed something to...
Unleashes one deep. And they can't hook up on the big play, and that brings up a fourth down.
This quarterback is having a day, man, and right there he was looking for touchdown pass number 5. He has been dialing it up. He's been throwing strikes. We haven't seen him miss very much like he did just there, but what a game this dude is having.
Fires to the middle. And the ball is picked off. Trying to take it back. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
QBs have to understand, when I'm throwing against zones, I got to manipulate guys with my eyes. I might have to look one direction to create an opening to throw that ball or zip that ball in. I got to use touch. It's really hard when all eyes are on me, and you could tell the quarterback was not ready and did not make a good throw.
He wants to throw. He's going up top. And he's got it at the 15-yard line. And chunk plays are the name of the game, and they get one here before the defense finally makes the stop. That big play really has them in business. It's 1st and 10 from the 11. DB's locked up tight on the receivers. Wide receiver coming across in motion. Out of the shotgun, they go to the ground. Give him about a yard on the play. It's down at the 10. Second down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Try to get the edge with a quick touch pass. Touchdown, Eagles! And they made it to the house when they found that 6 points waiting on them. This is like a baseball pitcher that can't miss. He is just pounding the strike zone.
Yeah, it just gets in the zone, right? When you can't miss, you've seen quarterbacks get like that no matter what they do. They're on fire. They're hitting the receivers. And listen, that's also on the defense. The defense has to do a better job making him feel uncomfortable, changing what they're doing in coverage so he's a little bit confused. You can't just let him pick you apart.
About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. That one bounds through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Liberty takes over the Flames, sending the offense back onto the field. Boy, they had that last drive moving a little bit, David, but then the mistake just crushed them.
Yeah, and those mistakes are going to happen. You're going to throw the football, you're going to throw interceptions. But I think I stay aggressive with this offense. I get back to what I did on the first part of that drive, what made me successful.
I agree, David. Just turn the page if you're a quarterback, right? On this drive, you did a lot of good things there leading up to that pick. Forget about it, move on, play the next play.
And that's a great job executing the drag route. You just bring the big fella across the formation, wait for him to come open. The quarterback does a good job seeing him, finds him in the hole, hits him. Perfect job.
They get him on the ground, and that'll be the final play of this third period. Now facing a third down as they line up after the break. The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. They'll run for it on 3rd and short. They'll move the chains after he gets it to the 43-yard line. And the Flames in the hurry-up.
And this guy really has been a workhorse today. He's made plays when his offense has needed them the most. He's a guy who's reliable. They know they can turn around, give him the football, and he'll go make things work out. They're going to need him to finish this game. He has to continue playing well after that big run there.
Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Dropping back, it's Salter. He's got his man. At the 45, on his way. And they finally haul him down, but not before the good catch and run. The Flames are on the move. The give to the left. And they'll stop him just short of the first down, just inches away from moving the sticks.
It's a point in the game, I think, as a coaching staff where you really challenge your offensive line to go win the football game, right? We've got to lead late. We're going to run the football. And the defense and everybody in the stadium knows that's what's going to happen. Can we run the ball down their throats and impose our will? That's what this offense right now is trying to do.
And the Flames will have a first down.
Yeah, and if this offense can keep that rolling, if they can keep the physical ground game and continue to add these plays up as they go along, long drives, eat the clock with the lead, this coach will be ecstatic.
The Flames getting set on 1st and 10.
42 Spider. 4-2 Spider.
Now on the option. He'll pitch it. And there were no creases or crevices to run through, and they shove him out of bounds.
And there's a coachable moment for that young man right there. It's a nice run. Your team's got the lead late, but because of that, you cannot go out of bounds before you get to 2 minutes. If you go out, the clock's going to stop, and that's a coachable moment, something he'll learn from moving forward.
They make the stop at the 2, but he's got enough to give them a 1st and goal.
I think most offenses around the country in a situation like this with the lead late would be trying to run the football, right, or throw it short and try to bleed the clock. But this offense, man, it's still pedal to the metal. They're looking for chunk play opportunities.
They'll dial up the run on 1st and goal. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple.
So on offense, you've got to find a way to put 6 up on the board. You know that in this game, field goals may not get it done. So big-time players make big plays in big games. Who can you rely on right now to get you a touchdown?
Can the defense stop them again on 2nd and goal?
Green 25.
Tries again to get it in. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3. And the Flames want to move quickly.
Brings up 3rd and goal.
Wants to throw for it on 3rd and goal.
What a 3rd down stop by this defense. 3rd down and goal, no problem. You know that guy. Every time he touches the football, you hold your breath because he's so dynamic at the quarterback spot. They were ready, and they forced the 4th and goal.
It's good. And now the lead is even bigger. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Gentlemen, let's take a look at what's happening in this exciting college football game. Hawaii is down, but they are not out of it. Not there in Oahu, one of the more majestic places to watch a game in all of college football. It's a touchdown game. They're trailing by 7 to Oklahoma State. Your boy KC has you covered here in studio, guys, in case anything changes in this one.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Quick pass on the jet motion. Still on his feet at the 35. Big gain on that one as he steps out of bounds with a 1st down.
And this receiver is so dangerous. There's so many different ways that he can hurt a defense. You got to throw it to him conventionally, but find creative ways to get him the football out in space and let him go to work.
That kind of play will put a jolt into a drive. It's 1st and 10 from just inside the 40. Williams will pass. He's got him in the flat. And he'll make his way out of bounds after the solid pickup.
Listen, running backs are not just running backs anymore. You're going to be a wide receiver in today's football. And a great job sneaking out of the backfield, getting the football, letting them get some positive yards.
Here comes the offense on 2nd down. He's looking to throw. Fires toward the end zone. And it slips through his fingers, incomplete. That would have been a huge gain if he could have held on.
And I understand the logic by the offense here. Obviously, you're down in this game. You're trying to claw back into it. Why not take a shot? Why not be aggressive in that time? They just can't come up with a completion.
They probably feel good about their field goal chances from the 29, but they'd love to convert this 3rd and short. The aerial assault continues. And the 3rd down pass is incomplete.
Well, on 3rd and short and field goal range, they dial up the pass play. Quarterback was trying to get through his progressions. There was just simply nobody open. Couldn't make an accurate enough throw. Ball falls incomplete. Now setting up a big decision here on 4th down.
Down by multiple possessions. They can't come up empty on this drive in the 4th quarter. They'll go for it on 4th down. Motion from the offense. Early movement on the offense, and they'll push it back 5 yards. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Down in the 4th quarter, it's too late for empty possessions. They'll go for it on 4th down. Motion by the back forces the defense to adjust. They're throwing for it on 4th down. Finds his man, and they convert. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch. The metrics tell you so often, go ahead, go for it on 4th down, and it pays off there.
And that just shows you the head coach's confidence in his quarterback to go out on a critical 4th down and execute.
Kept it, and he's past the marker. Defense is there to make the stop, but he's got the 1st down, and they'll have it 1st and goal at the 6. Quick timeout call by the offense after the play, trying to preserve every minute possible. First and goal, and this feels like their chance to make a game of it. Grabbed behind the line, it's Walton. And oh, did they know that one was coming. They'll knock him down in the backfield. Georgia Southern in a hurry. Pre-snap motion in the backfield. He wants to throw here on 2nd down. Caught in the backfield, it's Arnold. Touchdown, Eagles! What a catch and run for 6. They got the score they needed, but this isn't over.
No, don't call it a comeback yet. The first part, step 1 accomplished, but this offense obviously still has work to do, but the defense has to go out and get a stop and get them the ball back.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And the PAT will draw them 1 point closer. So it's an 80-yard drive, and they get it into the end zone with a 6-yard touchdown pass. They got the touchdown they needed. Now trailing by a field goal, they'll line up for the onside kick. Not much drives more anxiety than waiting to see if the hands team can corral the onside kick, and they do. First down here with time for maybe one more play until the 2-minute warning. They'll come out on this drive and let it rip. Dumps it off in the flats. They make the stop right there. Good pickup. It's still short of the 1st down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Second down here, and maybe they've got time to get one more snap off before the 2-minute warning. The handoff, keep working on that clock. They get him on the ground, but not before he gets enough for the 1st down. They're down to the 20, 1st and 10. They'll give it to him again. Got enough space. Touchdown, Flames. And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house. Ready to try the point after. And the extra point extends the lead to double figures at 10. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And the score came on an impressive run from the 20. About to kick it off after punching it in for the touchdown. Here's the return from inside his 10. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Georgia Southern has it back, and here comes the offense again. To the air on first down. Pressure coming. And he is snowed under. Sacked at the 7. Everybody has to be set. They have to get it off. Williams looking for a man. He's going to go down, and he's in his own end zone. It's going to be a safety. So after taking the safety, they'll line up for a free kick from their own 20.
Oh, and how about this defense? Understanding where they are in the field. They got a chance to put points on the board, and they do.
And your Liberty Flames will take over. 1st and 10.
Line gets set. First down.
Cricket.
They go to the ground. At midfield, he's got room. And they exploited that soft spot, and they get it down to the 35.
These situations are preached so much in college football. Finishing a game strong, understanding circumstances. They are running the football right at you, trying to keep that clock moving, get a few first downs, and get a W.
And they'll wrestle him to the ground after a short gain.
Small gain, I know, but again, the defense knows he's going to run the football. He's willing to run the football, not just drop back and pass, make him honor the run game. You got to do a lot of this.
Nifty little dance step. And he was able to run through one tackle, but still only a modest gain. The Flames moving quickly to the line. On 3rd and short, they'll go to the power running game. Fights his way for a couple, but stopped short of the marker. It's 4th and 1.
Coming up, 4th down.
Well, this was an offensive showcase out there today. We thought it would be a high-scoring game, and it certainly delivered.
If you love offense, then you love this type of game. Both offenses going up and down the field, seemingly at will. Throwing the ball, running the ball. But, David, I feel like if you're a fan of defense, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea.
More defense optional. You didn't really get too much of that stuff, but, listen, you got to get a few stops late in the game. You got to get one, actually just kind of one stop with this many points that was being scored. You got the stop late. That's why you got the dub.
That's going to do it for us from here. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.